Hey, welcome back. Today we're going deep on a type of fat that you absolutely cannot see in the mirror. It's a hidden danger that could be lurking inside your body right now, even if you look totally thin and healthy. But understanding what it is, well, that's the first step to beating it. So let's get into it.
So let me ask you a question. When you think about gaining fat, where do you think it starts? Most of us, right, we'd probably point to our stomach, our love handles. But what if I told you that's not actually where the real trouble begins?
That's right. The most dangerous kind of fat gain starts somewhere you'd probably never, ever guess.
To really get what's going on, we first need to meet the villain of this story, and its name is visceral fat.
Now, visceral fat isn't that soft stuff you can pinch on the outside. No, this is the internal packing material that gets crammed around your vital organs, your liver, your intestines, you name it. A really good way to think about it is like someone stuffed a bunch of styrofoam peanuts deep inside your abdominal cavity. It's invisible, and it creates all this pressure and a ton of problems you can't even see.
So, if the danger doesn't start in our belly, where does this stuff first start to build up? Okay, get ready for this, because the answer is pretty wild.
Yep, your tongue. Believe it or not, the back third of your tongue is naturally marbled with fat. And when you start to gain excess weight, that's ground zero. This happens to everybody, even people who look super thin on the outside. It's actually why someone might suddenly start snoring or even develop something serious like sleep apnea. Their tongue has literally gotten fatter and it's blocking their airway when they lie down to sleep.
And this whole idea, being thin on the outside but having dangerous fat on the inside, it's not just some theory. It's a real phenomenon. They actually call it skinny fat. And the scientific proof behind it is, frankly, staggering.
Just take a look at this. Researchers at Cornell University decided to investigate this in a massive study. They looked at 3,000 normal-sized Swedish women.
So they followed these women for 13 years, and the results were a huge wake-up call. The women who, despite being a normal weight, had higher levels of this internal visceral fat, they had a 3 times higher risk of developing breast cancer. 3 times. It just goes to show what you see on the scale, it really doesn't tell the whole story.
So why is this fat so dangerous? Well, because it's not just sitting there, it's active. Think of it like a leaky suitcase, constantly seeping these inflammatory compounds into your bloodstream. And if there's one thing cancer loves, it's an inflammatory environment. This inflammation is like pouring gasoline on the dying embers of a campfire. It can take these tiny microscopic cancer cells and make them just explode into a raging fire.
And we're not just talking about breast cancer here. This stuff is linked to a higher risk for at least 14 different kinds of cancer. Things like colon, ovarian, lung, and prostate cancer. It's a systemic issue that puts your whole body at risk.
Okay, I know, that's a lot of bad news. But here's the good news. Your body actually has a built-in defense mechanism, a really powerful fat-burning engine. We just have to learn how to flip the switch and turn it on. And that brings us to brown fat. This is the good fat. See, unlike that white visceral fat that just stores energy, brown fat burns it. It's absolutely packed with these iron-rich mitochondria that act like thousands of tiny internal furnaces. When you activate it, it literally torches that dangerous white fat to create heat. It's an incredible tool we all have in our arsenal. And the process is actually pretty straightforward. It all starts with a trigger. Could be something as simple as cold exposure or even certain foods we eat. This trigger flips on a specific receptor, which then tells a protein called UCP1 to fire up your mitochondria. In the result, your internal furnace kicks into high gear and starts burning that nasty visceral fat for fuel. So how can we trigger this whole process, without having to sit in an ice bath every day? Well, the answer is right in your kitchen. You can literally eat to burn fat.
Let's start with green tea. In one study, people who drank 4 cups a day for just 2 months lost nearly 2 inches from their waist. And that's key. A smaller waist circumference is a direct indicator that you're burning off that dangerous internal fat.
And hey, it's not just green tea. Matcha is incredible because you're consuming the whole leaf, so you get a super concentrated dose of those fat-burning compounds. Oolong tea works great too. And then there's pu'er tea, which is fermented, so it helps you out with both its natural compounds and its probiotic benefits for your gut.
Okay, next up, fish. We all know that oily fish like salmon is amazing for us, but check this out. An Icelandic study found that even a non-oily fish like cod, which has way fewer omega-3s, had a shockingly powerful effect. People eating cod just 3 times a week lost an incredible 10 pounds in only 8 weeks.
And here's the best part. You don't need a ton of it to get the benefit. That effective dose from the study,
284 milligrams of omega-3s? You can get that from just 4 medium shrimp, or a single forkful of mackerel. It really makes fighting visceral fat super simple and totally doable.
All right, our final strategy is maybe the simplest of all. It's not about what you eat, but when you eat. It's just a tiny tweak to your daily schedule that can make an enormous difference.
It's called the 12-12 method, and it's exactly what it sounds like. All you do is create a 12-hour window where you don't eat. So, for example, if you finish dinner at 8 p.m., you just don't eat anything again until 8 a.m. the next morning. That's it. This gives your body a full 12 hours, most of which you're sleeping anyway, to stop storing fuel and start burning the fuel it already has.
So at the end of the day, it's pretty clear that our health is so much more than just a number on a scale. The real question we should be asking ourselves is about what's going on inside. What is your body's internal story telling you?